This is the Huawei Matebook X Pro, the best laptop you've never heard of. It's thin, light, has a gorgeous screen, and won't break the bank. Are the perks and the price worth buying a brand you might not know? Or should you stick with a more established brand like Apple or Dell? Let's find out in our review of the Huawei Matebook X Pro. The first thing you'll notice about this laptop is its familiar design. It looks strikingly similar to the MacBook Pro. Some people might call it a knockoff, but I really appreciate the design. There's a reason MacBooks have looked more or less the same for several years. Their design is sleek, timeless, and I'm happy to see this kind of design language make its way to Windows PCs. For too long, Windows laptops were incredibly ugly when compared to their Apple counterparts. A major difference between the Matebook and the MacBook is the screen. Instead of a more traditional 16:9 aspect ratio, the Matebook screen uses a 3:2 aspect ratio. This means the screen is taller than a more traditional laptop, allowing for greater vertical screen real estate. This makes editing documents and general productivity work much more pleasant to do. The screen is also incredibly nice to look at. It is a sharp 3000 by 2000 resolution, gets really bright, and colors look brilliant. Due to the taller screen, you will get some black bars on the top and bottom when watching widescreen video, but it's not distracting and video content still looks excellent. Under the hood, this model is packing Intel's newest 8th generation Core i5 processor, 8 gigs of RAM, and a 256 SSD and Intel integrated graphics. We're not going to do any crazy benchmark testing for this review, but in the terms of the spec for this model, here are a couple things to know. 1. Don't expect a game on this thing. The upgraded model could handle some light gaming with its discrete graphics, but the entry level's integrated graphics won't cut it. 2. The i5 and 8 gigs of RAM perform really well, but if you're worried about performance, have a heavy workload, and like to keep like 25 Chrome tabs open, definitely upgrade to the i7 and 16 gigs of RAM. 3. The 256 SSD is okay, but I would have liked to see a larger configuration for this model. So if you find yourself running out of space, consider getting a small external hard drive or a cloud storage option like Dropbox. The Matebook Pro also features a marginally better port selection than the MacBook Pro. You will most likely be living the dongle life still, but in addition to the 2 USB-C ports, you'll also find a traditional USB port as well. The keyboard and trackpad are excellent. The keys are a joy to type on, with a surprisingly good feel for a laptop this thin. I preferred the typing experience on the Matebook Pro over the Dell XPS 13 I was using earlier. The keyboard also hides an interesting little secret. Due to the thin borders around the screen, there really isn't any room for the webcam, so it's hidden down here in the keyboard. It definitely isn't the ideal place to put the camera, as I found it awkwardly looking at my knuckles and like this part of my torso, but I think the great screen was worth the sacrifice. Also, if you're one of those people that's really paranoid and likes to keep tape or a sticky note over your webcam, you won't have to deal with that anymore. One other small detail is the power button also hides a fingerprint sensor, so if you're worried about security or don't feel like using a traditional password, this is an easy way to unlock it. The trackpad is massive. It's a glass pad that tracks really well, and honestly, I never found myself thinking too much about it. Early on, I had a couple tracking issues with it accurately picking up a 2-finger click, but after an update, it seems to have been fixed. Finally, the speakers are some of the best I've ever heard on a laptop. They are Dolby Atmos certified and crazy loud. Dialogue in movies comes in clearly and music sounds great. Usually laptop speakers suck or are in weird places like underneath the laptop, but these are right next to the keyboard and fire sounds straight at you. So if you're in the market for a laptop, should you take a chance on Huawei or stick with a more established brand? For the price, you're getting a terrific deal if you compare the Matebook Pro with something like the MacBook Pro. Performance was solid, although we probably recommend upgrading and getting the $1,500 model. The screen is beautiful, battery life is good, there's truly not much more we would want to see from a laptop. We would highly recommend this laptop. If you're looking to game or something with more ports, definitely look somewhere else. But if you're looking for a great all-around laptop for general use, you can't go wrong with the Huawei Matebook X Pro. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Christian Cooper, and I'll see you in the next video.